feel like God also changed our perspective on how he really loves everyone, even those that we actually, if we're really honest, don't love so much, would not rather head in. And maybe we're even afraid by what they could bring us, maybe bring in some spirits. But we found out, and this is also fruit, that people get touched by the atmosphere that's living in the house. I would just say that's the presence of God that's loving everyone.
Hello, my name is Gordon Shoal Rogers, and I'm really pleased that you have joined me for today's episode of Faith Without Frontiers. In this episode, I'm talking with Josef and Rebecca Schneider from Austria. They turned a struggling former seminary into a thriving hotel business. They share how their vision shifted from simply planting a church to growing God's kingdom through hospitality, servant leadership, and the creation of a welcoming space where faith is lived out in everyday business.
Josef and Rebecca Schneider, thank you very much for being willing to talk to me. So let's start by asking what you do. You're in Austria. You're Austrians working in Austria, right? So what do you both do?
For a living, I'm working as a music therapist. And here in the house, I'm doing all the finances.
So before we go to you, Josef, let's just unpack that. What's here in the house mean, Rebecca?
Here in the house means we run a hotel.
Okay.
And it used to be a seminar house for priests, for Catholic priests, a seminar house for priests. And because there were less and less priests coming in, they thought about maybe even tearing it down because there was no use for such a big house anymore. And then the owner of the buildings, they had a vision of how could we do something that's working for the society, but with a Christian heart? Like, how can we plant church in a new way?
Yeah.
So in its heyday, when it was a Roman Catholic training seminary, it had 500 ordinands here or something. How many were here by the end?
5.
Okay. So that wasn't really viable. So let's unpack a bit more about this hotel business, Josef. What do you do in the hotel? This is your main job, right?
Yeah, I'm the hotel manager.
Yeah.
And this is how I feed my family.
Okay. Always a good thing to do.
Yes. But I was former teacher in high school for religion and sport.
Okay.
And just regressed to this business from 0 to 100%. And our intention is also to plant the church. So our primary goal was to plant the church here.
Okay.
And it was planned to be 50% in the hotel and 50% for a church.
Yeah.
But at the pioneer time, it gets up to 100% hotel because it was just a tough time to learn everything and also to get it run. And yes, so I'm now 100% a hotel manager. Together with my wife, we also make a small church plant here. We saw a seed for church planting.
So you went from being a school teacher to being a hotel manager.
Yes.
And at that time thinking you would also be a church planter. That's a lot of change.
Yes.
And this was 7 years ago. How old were your kids at that point?
We had 3 kids, but then they were like 4, 3, and 1 was just born. And then we had our 4th child about 2 years later.
So you moved from a stable life teaching music. Were you doing music therapy before?
Yes, I was, but not by then. I was at home by then.
So full-time mum
Yeah.
and full-time teacher to the crazy world of a new business, from building it from nothing. So you took over this building, which was, what kind of condition was it in? How was the building?
It was under instruction. We came in July, and in February, we signed the contract that we buy it. Yes, so the reconstruction began. Yeah. And when we came in July, we thought the plan was that we have an apartment here.
Building.
Yes.
Hotel.
Yes, we have an apartment where we can move in, but it wasn't finished at that time. So we moved.
Okay.
So it was really a big adventure.
Yeah. It as an adventure, Rebecca.
Yeah, my boys loved it.
They loved it.
They had all the workers coming in every day, and everything was torn down and rebuilt.
Yes.
Sometimes they could even help, and then they had these big machines coming across the garden and coming to the windows, and it was very exciting.
The elevator had no doors. There was just a big hole, and so we were frightened that we survived this.
And the boys lived to tell the tale. So this is a huge thing to have done, and now it's a functioning business. I mean, I'm staying here. It's really nice, and there are 100 of us here this week. So you have a lot of guests in the hotel now. What's your capacity?
In total, we have 70 rooms and 180 beds.
Okay.
Yes, and we have 2 event locations, like up in the rooftop, and down we have also a bigger room, and we have 7 seminar rooms. So we have a lot of groups with seminars, with conferences.
And concerts and all sorts of things.
Wedding.
Okay.
Yes.
So, but you didn't come because you were excited about its commercial potential.
Yeah, no.
Tell us about that journey.
Yeah, I was working as a school teacher, and Rebekka started musician therapy and worked as a musician therapist. But at that time, our passion for church really grew.
Yeah.
So we focused on planning to become a full-time ministry.
Okay.
And then it was like a call of God to move to Horn. It was not we received the call, but our church movement.
Okay.
And then it also hit us. And we thought, okay, let's go for plant a church. This was one of our dreams. And we thought, okay, the hotel business, we do it beside, maybe so 10% the passion we put in it or effort. And if we had known everything before, maybe we never decided to come here. Because if we would know that, okay, we would do it then 100, and it was like the hotel was taking so much energy and focus from us, we never decided to move here.
Because at that point you weren't interested in building a successful business. That wasn't what you wanted.
We were so focused on church. We loved Jesus. We were passionate about the kingdom. And the only idea to build kingdom in this world is to build a church and to call people into the church. We build a big church who grows bigger and bigger, and our mission is to call people from outside into the church. So this was our picture, our vision of how to build kingdom in this world.
But that has changed now. You're so passionate about Jesus, so longing for people to him, but your thinking about the kingdom has changed, about how you build the kingdom. How he
picture grew bigger. The owner of the building, he had a longer journey and to this picture, because he was 30 years a missionary in Austria.
Huh?
He was pastoring in Tyrol, in the western of Austria.
Yeah.
But his experience was that he didn't have access to the people of Austria.
Okay.
The first town he moved, the mayor told him, "You are not welcome in this town. Please leave this town."
Right.
This was his first experience as a missionary in Austria. He came from Switzerland, not far away.
Okay.
And
he was perceived as a sect.
Yes.
Yeah.
But when he moved to Horn as a businessman, the mayor opened the door and welcomed him. And he had access also to share the gospel with him after a few meetings.
Yes.
In Austria, it's hard to plant a church if you just focus on building a church. If you want to reach the people, it's more easy to build a business. And through the business, you have open doors to people. And he took us on this journey. And we had a lot of talks with the owner. And in the beginning, the talks were like, I try to run the business, the hotel. And if I'm done, I make the church planting to build the kingdom. And he always said to me, no. When the hotel runs, you build kingdom.
All right.
It's not first hotel and then church. You build kingdom in every time you work in the hotel and make it a good business. But it took 2-3 years that I really realized what he meant.
Yeah.
I remember one situation, the talk was the same.
Yeah.
And I said to him, "Yes, I understand. I will give my best for the hotel. It's okay. And then I do the church." And then he said to me, "No, you don't understand anything."
Okay.
And he said to me, "If this place gets a weird Christian place you are the first who leave this place, because he doesn't want to. Maybe you can explain it better.
Yeah.
Unpack that a bit.
By that time, we thought about, we have such a great room. Yeah, we could do a Bible school, we could do Christian events, and in this building, and build a kingdom because of Christian coming in and maybe going out and evangelize. So this was like the old style. But then I think what the owner tried to bring us was that if we do this, it will become a Christian bubble.
Okay.
It will not influence the culture here anymore, because people outside would actually not feel welcome anymore because they are different. And so he tried to tell us that by the culture that we build here and by the effects it will have on society around here, people will see what it means to serve a God.
Okay.
Especially then later in Corona time, when everyone was closing down and we still had parking lots completely filled and people coming in because of the big room we could offer or special conditions for working people. And we just saw the provision of God for the house here. But in that, of course, with the taxes we pay and the people that get blessed that are working here with us, it's like by the time they found out, they are not doing their own weird thing. They're actually trying to serve us. And like Jesus, he first did the healing and then people were receiving him for what he was. And so I think maybe it can be compared to that.
Yeah. He was afraid that this gets a Christian bubble. I think that's the point. Yes. He wanted to go into the world and serve the world, and not that we built a Christian bubble where Christians are there are just Christians. You want really that outside people are welcomed here.
Yeah.
And that Christians go into the world.
Yeah.
And so it's not like we invite them to come to our church, but they already know the place. And then they find out, we're Christians. So actually, maybe they already met God in a way here, although they didn't know.
Yeah. And I think for me, it was like the owner, his name is Daniel Liebeherr, famous name in Austria. He made this process 30 years. So what he learned in 30 years, he wanted to teach me in 2 years. So for me, it was, but now I get this picture, this vision, and it makes totally sense for me. I'm so glad and so thankful that I have now this greater view that it is totally enough if we make just a good business, if we just handle our employees nice, if we just make a good service in this town, so there's so much open doors and people are coming to us and ask, what is this, what you believe? We don't have to go to them anymore. They come to us. Yes.
So you are fully integrated in the society.
Totally.
You're a welcoming space. You're perceived as being part of the town.
Yes.
An important business in the town. You said earlier, Rebekka, about being here for society. You were saying, Josef, about going into society and being in society and doing it society's way, but with kingdom values.
Yeah.
And being a welcoming space. So the light went on for you.
Yeah.
What about 3 years in?
It went on when I saw the fruits.
Okay.
It went on when I saw, I just did a good job. I just treated my employees nice. And I saw that people swifted in before they were like, what are they doing? They switched.
Okay.
Wow, what are they doing? Okay, they're just looking at us.
We'll watch them and watch them carefully.
Yeah, and then I saw the fruits that they are coming to us with their problems. They're coming to us because they wanted to talk with us. They're coming to us to have counseling. And so I just saw the fruits and also like the first conversation. This is like the conversation. Conversion we had in our church plant was a woman who had some esoteric seminars in our hotel. She did some really crazy esoteric stuff in this house. But she was the first woman we baptized because she knew we were Christian and we have a prayer room in this house. We always did worship there. And she heard the sound. She got interested.
So it turns out her esoteric thing was seeking after something spiritual.
Yes.
And she suddenly realized it's available here. It's real.
It's real.
Yeah.
Now she makes worship nights here in this house.
Wow.
So this is really cool.
And even inviting her esoteric friends because they now find out that she found something that's real.
It's amazing. I'm guessing that you got criticism from some Christians for doing that.
Yes.
How did you cope with that?
I think it's important to have a discussion for this. I'm hearing this criticizing people, criticism, because it's important to reflect about it.
Okay.
Yes, we don't want to be like, have no point or have no stand, or we don't want
to weaken or water down the gospel.
Yeah, we don't want to down the gospel, but we don't want to talk like everything always goes to God or something like this. We don't want to have false tolerance, but we want to be welcoming, but we want to be clear in our gospel.
Okay.
So this is a tension, and it's always a thing of how do you live it outside for the outside people. Yeah. So I think it's good to like the criticism because it encourages us to think about it and reflect about it, how Jesus treated people, how Jesus think about this topic. So we are open for criticism always. Yeah. And we had good conversations.
Okay. And sorry, Rebekka, go ahead.
Yeah, I think I just want to add that I think before we came here, maybe we saw more the differences between churches even, or between Christians and non-Christians. And I feel like God also changed our perspective on how he really loves everyone, even those that we actually, if we're really honest, don't love so much. Yeah, would not rather have in. Yeah. And maybe we're even afraid by what they could bring. Yes. Maybe they bring in some spirits. But we found out, and this is also fruit, that people get touched by the atmosphere that's living in the house. I would just say that's the presence of God that's loving everyone. So I think our perspective changed of maybe trying to divide who is who and how can we know what they want and if maybe we should be them even, And now we found out more of, just being so welcome and loving people in, and because love unites us in a very pure way of maybe even being open for each other. Not just we being open to them, but them also being open to us and for the gospel, because they sense and feel that we just love them. We don't expect anything and we don't criticize them.
Across the world, Christians are paying a high price simply because they follow Jesus. Some are threatened, some are beaten, some are imprisoned or separated from their families. But even in the face of persecution, they remain faithful. In When Faith is Forbidden, Todd Nettleton shares 40 true stories of courageous believers he has met face to face. Christians who continue to follow Christ no matter the cost. Through this book, Todd wants to share their stories with you so that you can be challenged, encouraged, and reminded that God is at work in some of the world's darkest places. That's why the Voice of the Martyrs would like to send you a copy as a free gift. To request yours, visit vom.org/frontier. That's vom.org/frontier. Get your free copy of When Faith is Forbidden today and be encouraged by the faith of Christians who are standing firm around the world.
Yes, and for us it's important that we are really rooted in Christ, deep rooted in Christ, and in practice. If an esoteric guy comes to us and tells about his stuff, of his esoteric stuff, we just say, we tell him as our Christian stuff. Yeah. So we tell them the Christian stuff when they don't ask. But if someone comes to us and tell their view of the world, we always tell our view of the world, our Christian view of the world. So this is how we do it, to live bold.
And as you said, they will know us by the fruit. So by now, 7 years later, they know it's working. If there is a God that those people in the house trust in, he might be real.
And that fruit, you mentioned, Josef, how one of the things that people noticed was the way you treated the staff.
Yes.
So tell us about that, the values in managing the staff. Yeah. How did that demonstrate the fruit of Christ?
Yeah. It was really also a journey.
Okay.
Because in the beginning, we were looking for staff. We didn't find staff. We were so hard looking for staff.
Hospitality industry is really difficult, isn't it?
But now we have a line waiting to work here.
Really?
Yes.
Yeah. And that's because you have a reputation for being a good
Yes.
And you're a team builder.
Yes. So what I did is I wanted to become a pastor.
Okay.
Yes. And my dream was to be a pastor.
Yeah.
And I always was sad that I had so much work in the hotel. Oh, this hotel, it's hindering me from getting my calling. But then I realized I have this job. As a boss, as a hotel manager, I am a pastor.
You're a pastor of your employees.
Yes.
And you're
So you have the same topics.
Okay.
Okay, they get salary. This is different.
Yeah.
But every day you work with people. So this was a shift in my view that, hey, I'm a pastor, and how I treat people in church, I treat people here. I treat them my staff.
In the business.
Yes, in the business. So we give our staff vision. I treat them nice. If they are sick, we don't fire them like it's usual in this business. Or even in Corona times, when the crisis was, we paid them full salary. Even if they work just part-time, maybe they work 10%.
How did you manage to do that?
Yes, we get support from the state.
Yeah.
But we had just to pay 80% of the salary. Right. So it was a deal with the staff, with the state, and with the business. But we said no, hey, they had to pay bills and everything. So we just want to pay them the full salary. So this 20% we hadn't to pay, we paid extra.
You paid that from your reserves in the business, or
we paid them just in faith that the income will come.
Okay.
But by that time, we were still supported by the mother.
Yes, mother company.
Okay.
But we really experienced some signs and wonders. We had really groups in the lockdown. Like the military stayed here for weeks, months, because they had security for the borders.
Yes.
And it's really close, the border to Czech, the Republic. And so they stay here for months.
Okay.
They pay good. No. And then we had a film crew.
Okay.
They were filming a film here in this region, a movie, yes, and they stayed here for 1 month. So we had a lot of groups. We had the best year in the lockdown. So this was really a sign for us, wow, God is with us. God is in this. Yes. And it was really, everything was closed. Everything was empty, but our parking lots were full. Yeah. So it was another, wow, God is with us.
But you had already made the decision you would pay your employees full salaries. Yes. And then the Lord provided that.
Yes, it was like, okay, how we do it. And then we said, okay, we pay the full salary. Yeah. And yes. And
by that time, we did not really, and nobody really knew how long it will take, how it will continue. So I think it was step by step.
Yes.
Yeah.
But what I want to mention is how Josef is leading team is really in a serving, fathering way.
Yeah.
And that's what I did not find anywhere else. So
interesting. Okay.
I think it probably is completely new to the staff that we have here. Maybe people in church expect it.
Okay.
Pastor is serving, but not as a business.
Yeah. But this is the point. I'm a pastor in the business. I'm serving. It's like kingdom thinking. I serve in the business.
Okay.
So this was for me, okay, wow.
So you're modeling servant leadership in a commercial context.
Yes.
Brilliant. That's brilliant. Yeah. And you mentioned, Rebekka, that you were supported by the parent company and for the first few years. Are you still dependent on the parent company, or are you now beginning to turn a profit?
Yes. Last year we had a good profit.
Okay.
Yes. And now...
Last year was your first turnaround.
Yeah. And it took 7 years.
Yeah.
But yes, and for the vision is that we get disconnected from the parent company. So because the vision of our parent company is not to grow bigger and bigger, but to multiply the businesses. So we're just in the process that we become our own company, And then with our company, we also want to multiply again. This is like multiplication. This is also kingdom thinking.
Yeah, no, that's brilliant.
Yeah.
No, I imagine you're talking business language now, which you've learned over 7 years. You came from school teaching, sport and religious education. How did you begin to learn all these lessons that you might have done an MBA for? People, people do years as apprentices in businesses, learning how to run the business from inside a business. You came from school teaching.
Yes.
So how did that work?
Yes. I think a lot of skills I learned when I was a teacher, or I learned in my studies at the university. And also a lot of skills I learned in church. Okay. How to treat people, how to lead people, how to serve people, how to give them vision and get them there. I think a lot of the skills you can use them in business. Okay. They're like gold nuggets in business because a lot of business people or leaders, they don't have the skills. Okay. That's the reason why they're not successful in business. Maybe what we learned in church, and I can say this for me, what I have learned in church, I was leading a youth group. I was leading a church startup in Vienna, in the first district. We were leading together a youth network for the whole Austria. And if I hadn't made this experience, I think I could do this now because it was a preparation for me. So maybe this is my advantage because we have some partners who just made the normal education for this business, for running a restaurant or running a hotel, and they struggle really hard. And they now asked us for help.
So you talked earlier about vision and learning, how you're developing vision, sharing vision. You've talked a lot about how you handle people or manage people. Rebekka, you've said that Josef is brilliant at building team and his style of leadership draws people in and helps people to get excited. You've talked about lessons from the network, that youth network. So all of those things, actually looking back, they equipped you think perhaps better than an MBA would have done.
Yes, because just one point, in the church you have to motivate people because they are volunteers. So you have to give them vision. Why do we do that? Because they spend a lot of time and also money. And you have to motivate them. And so, and you go now to our business, I think a lot of people think, okay, just to give them salary is enough. But the salary is, even in our business, it's not good at all. What we learned in church is to motivate people to do normal, easy jobs with a great passion. I think this is what we do here. There are a lot of really easy, small jobs to get done. And we try to motivate them that they do a great job and for a big vision because they help that people have a great time here in Horn. And also like this week we have a lot of international people. And I tell my staff, hey guys, we have international people in this small city. We can help them to have a great time and an unforgettable time. So this is what we learned in church, to motivate people, to give them vision, and also that they have fun in the way of doing. Because with volunteers, you have to motivate them.
So you want your staff to enjoy their work.
Because I'm just thinking that when I think about their lives, and I think the jobs to get done in the hotel is some easy small jobs like just clean your toilets, just clean the rooms, wash the dishes. It's just a lot of routine. It's a lot of stuff. And if I imagine I would do this, I would have fun if I have a greater picture to clean. And also if we have a great atmosphere and they spend 40 hours a week here. And if there's a great staff, in the break, they have great conversation, I think it makes their life better because of a lot of the staff we have, they have not an easy life at home also. So we try to have heaven here in our company for them.
Yes,
And also, I think what Josef just does so well is that when we work in this place, we also want to enjoy the benefits of this place. So whenever there's a worker and he has to work here maybe for a week in summer, then he's welcome to bring his family and let them stay here as well so they can be together. Okay. And things like this, also our children, they love the house because they can use everything that's here for the guests.
Yeah.
So maybe not when they're in the house, but as soon as they're gone, it's like our house. And so I think the workers also, they identify with the house. It's their house. So they want to have a beautiful house and to have a beautiful atmosphere. And we also, I think we have great team parties and team getaways. So we treat them for what they do.
You also have great food. We're eating really well.
Yeah,
and
we're really thankful for our kitchen.
That's great. It's really great. And you were telling me earlier, Joseph, that you've been approached about taking over a restaurant. You were just thinking 7 years, maybe it's time for a bit of a break of some kind, bit of a sabbatical. Suddenly this new opportunity has arisen.
Yes.
Tell us about that.
It's just as I mentioned before, some people in the business, leaders in the business who run a restaurant, they struggle.
In Horns, separate from the hotel.
Yes, separated from the hotel. They struggle, and now they came to us and asked us for help.
Okay.
So because they can't do it anymore, and they were just asking us if we can help them or if we can take it over. Because, and these are then really a good conversation, because in this situation, we can also share the gospel. We always share the gospel in this situation when they come, and even this guy just asked us, I need this connection you have
with God.
With God, because I think this is missing.
Okay.
Because you have a lot of pressure in business, you have a lot of stress in business, you have a lot of disappointments in business, and we know all of these things, and he knows us really good. And so and even I think if I have not God, I couldn't do this. The stress, the struggles, the pressure. And this is now just really fresh. And this is also a time where we just also listen to God. Should we help? Because just because someone asks for help, it's not, you don't want to be motivated just because when someone asks. We want to really ask God, is there a calling to help? Is there a calling to support? Or is there a calling to take it over? And I think my brother who runs the kitchen, he's really motivated.
He's excited.
Yes.
Yeah. But you're not sure yet.
He
We're
proved
still
it.
figuring it out.
Testing it.
But it goes on in this direction. It's also a sign for us, a sign of when something grows. It's a sign of healthy business. Yes. So for us, it's also a sign, wow, we're on a good way.
Yeah.
Because when we struggle here in this place, we couldn't even think about it. But for us, it's a bit too early to think about it. But when you walk with God, it's always a little bit like adventure.
I also want to mention that with so many decisions, we really did it like this. We went by the peace we had in our hearts, although we didn't know how it would work out. And also for everything we needed, we just prayed, like with Corona or any other challenges, like with the workers, or that would have more people coming in from Vienna, more business people. And God just always provided. And this time it also looks, so when his brother is leaving the house, we already heard about someone wanting to jump in and even take over the place, a position brother had.
Here in the hotel.
Maybe even more management. Yeah. So we're like, even before we are sure of how to pray and what to ask for, God already provided.
Yeah. And that's other thing. We are pastors in the business. In church, you always pray. You always want to hear from God. What's the next step for the church? What's the next step for this life group or for these people in the business? I think you have to do it by yourself. But this is also how we do business. We're praying about it. We listen to God. Because we also say a lot of times no. Because we didn't have the green light from God. So I think...
You're faithful and obedient.
Yeah. Talk to me for a minute about the stresses, the struggles, the pressures of running a business.
Yeah.
Maybe I talk about family a bit.
Go from the family side,
When we began to work here, it was a completely change of having to live inside the business, So at first, I was really stressed by the business always being present. Even at night, people would call and need something, and Josef would be the only one in the house, so he would have to get up. And when I was done with nursing, then Josef got up and fed his baby.
Okay.
And I think what also was my big light bulb moment was when I realized that God called us as a family here, not just you. So the best thing we can do is to support him working well and joining in in just the perspective of this is our house. We can use the benefits as well. Yeah, we can enjoy them as well. And also to try not to, sometimes you feel overwhelmed and you try to push it away. But if you look closer and you let it come to your heart, then maybe you realize you actually get blessed. When I was a staying at home mom, usually moms, they're really lonesome after a while because they have no one to talk to. Yeah. And I had the opposite problem. Yeah, whenever I felt lonely, I just had to open my bedroom door because I heard all the people out there. Yeah. And then we had so much opportunity also for the kids to meet in the garden or to have a baby group in the house. And so it was perfect for us as a family. And because I think we were open to what God would give us as a family in this situation, and because of the house, we received a lot of blessing. But it was a point of trusting God and opening up to where is the blessing. If you sent us here, you would want to bless us, wouldn't you? So show me.
So we are here to serve, but we are also expecting that you will work in us.
Yes. Yeah. And we could learn so much. Yeah. Also by going through the valleys together, and then realize how we actually grew in faith and we grew stronger in relationship. Yeah. We were confronted with so many things that maybe some people never have to deal with because they were never in such a tension. But I think we grew in our personality and in our faith because we had to face these things. Yeah.
Exciting adventure. Do you want to add anything, Joseph?
Yeah, no, I can just tell us something about the business side of stress sort of thing. Yes, it's just a normal stress I think everyone has to find good stuff. And till you find the good stuff, you have to do everything by yourself. Yeah. So in the beginning, yes, like my brother and me, we were the team who runs the hotel. So we did every job. Like we also cleaned some rooms because of some check-ins, some walk-ins in the hotel. We did everything in the hotel in the beginning. And then also like financial stress, how to pay salary for the next month. And so just the normal pressure, stress. You want good numbers, you need good stuff. And yes, so this is just a normal business. Yeah, that's stress. Pressure. The pressure, the most pressure was that we went all in. It was like we are not so flexible anymore because we have 4 children. At the time we moved, we had 3 children. One was just fresh born. So we knew when we move here, it should work. Otherwise, to move again, it is like too much exhausting. And as we just went all in, and it was no plan B for us. Of course, there's always a plan B, but if it wouldn't work, we had no plan B. So this was also some pressure that we had just one plan A, to follow God, be obedient, but we didn't see the provision at all in the beginning. Yeah. Yes.
So you really stepped out by faith in Christ.
Yes.
I had said, Rebekka, but our time is running out. Is there anything else you would like to add? Maybe we should have a music therapy conversation at the time.
There's a lot of Holy Spirit in there.
Yes, okay.
And I think that's it.
Yeah, that's a whole conversation in itself, isn't it? The music therapy. Sounds exciting, though, and interesting.
I can just tell that the atmosphere that we have in worship is built by the hearts drawing close to God. And when I do this in therapy, I have the opportunity to bring people close to God just by the music that I play with no words. And this is for me like a miracle that you can bring people closer to God without words.
Yes, and for us to add this, it was a wonder, a miracle that after 6 years, the hotel was running so good that when Rebekka gets the offer, she was looking for the job. Yeah. But when she gets the offer for a job, we were thinking, okay, wow, the hotel business was really so nice, so well. Hey, why don't we make this job? Because we started it.
Yeah. And Josef would take the kids in the afternoon because he could to the home office.
Okay, you work at home. The kids are restless, opening the door. Want to see, they need their mum and dad. Thank you both so much for being willing to talk to me. God bless you. It's great to hear the story. Thank you for joining us on today's episode of Faith Without Frontiers.
I hope you've been refreshed, stimulated, encouraged, and inspired by the conversation, perhaps even challenged. If you enjoyed today's episode, then please subscribe so that you don't miss the next story of faith in the series. And do consider sharing the podcast with friends, colleagues, or members of your church community. Until next time, may the Lord bless you and strengthen you as you serve Him wherever He has placed you.